guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lorraine. Welcome back to my Journey Unscripted. So today I just want to talk about something that's a bit serious and just something that came to my mind. And I was listening to the radio just the other day, and an ad came up, and it was talking about helping children that have been in abusive situations or been abused. So it's about this organization that helps kids, and it was just talking about how we should donate to the organization. And at the end of the ad, they said a childhood lasts a lifetime, and that got me thinking, what do they mean when they say a childhood lasts a lifetime? Most of the times we think when you're done with your childhood and you're an adult, that's it. But usually things that happen to you in your childhood, they tend to affect or show or pop up in your adulthood. Um, Sometimes the difficult grown-ups that we have in the society now, or abusive, be it verbally or physically, are also based, it's also due to traumas that they were exposed to when they were children. And I think as parents, we have an obligation or a responsibility of how we bring up our children, because you wouldn't want to give your children a past that they will need to recover from in future. So, as parents, the decisions that we make, the lives that we live, we have these little people that look up to us, and they are seeing everything. And every day in the life that you live, you're writing a script that your child is reading. So it's up to you what type of script you want your child to read from or to see, because what they see in the home is how they'll act out in future. Do you ever notice that sometimes the way you do things, be it how you clean in your house, how you cook, or how you do certain things, it's based on how you saw it being done in your family? Share a joke with you. A few years I attended it was a bridal shower, and so they were, the ladies will be giving advices to this new bride that's gonna get married in a few months or a few weeks or so. So one of the ladies said to her, you're gonna have differences with your husband um, on how to do things based on your upbringings. And then she said that you could have grown up in a family that was well up, and you had a 4 plate stove, and you could use all the plates on the stove to cook. Like you'd have one plate with rice, another one with the meat, another one with something else. But your husband could have come from a household where they had a 1 plate stove, for example, or a 2 plate stove. And as a result, they had to cook one thing at a time. So they'll cook the rice, then set it aside, then cook the meat and set it aside. And because of that, even now that you're married and you've bought a 4 plate stove, you'd find that your spouse is still cooking one thing at a time, despite the fact that they are 4 plates, And then she said this can cause you conflict, or you might not understand why, but it's because of his upbringing. So what am I saying? It's we our how we act most of the times is based on how we grew up, how we were brought up. I'm not saying all the time that's how we would act, and I'm in no means by a therapist, but it's just an observation that I've made. I usually listen to programs where they're talking about people talk about their their problems they're with this abusive spouse and what. And then sometimes when they then interview that certain spouse or that person and they tell their story, you'd see that they grew up in an abusive family, they grew up in a toxic family, or women were not respected, and so that then continues into their adulthood, and they think this is okay, this is how women should be treated, or because you know so all I'm saying is sometimes we have no control over the scripts that we read ourselves. We have no control over what we're exposed to as kids now that we're parents, but we have control of what we expose our children to. We have a control over changing our narrative or our children's narrative. We can control how their future is to a certain extent, but we have to be intentional about what we want our children to see. I mean, love your spouse hard. Love them so loud that your kids know that this is how they're supposed to, if they're a girl, this is how they're supposed to expect love or they're supposed to be treated. If they're a boy, this is how they're supposed to treat their woman in future. Love your spouse loud, spend time with your children. Shield your children from pain if possible. Shield them from things that you wouldn't want them to be exposed to. So we have a huge responsibility as parents, and wherever we can, let's give our children a childhood that they do not need to recover from in future. A childhood that they can be proud of, and a childhood that is filled with great memories. Because I can guarantee you one thing: kids, kids they see, kids they hear, kids can also pick up on vibes as well. They can sense when things are not right. So let's think about them. Let's put them first and give them a good childhood. Bye.